What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A Talk on Titan. I am here with a full squad today. Joining us, as always, is obviously Ben Goddard. But joining us also, we have Imon Snow. Imon, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Excited to have you on. And obviously, joining us as well, we have Video Drew's in the house. Video Drew, how are you doing?
What up? I'm doing pretty good. Got these crazy Attack Titans right here. Little puppies of mine, but doing great.
They're all attacking at the same time, which is smart. Let's start with you, Drew. Real quick, just because obviously I want to talk about this crazy episode in this season. But your Attack on Titan journey, as far as like where you started and now where you are. First of all, I think Eric is the one who got you into this anime. Am I right by that saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
My boyfriend Chronic got me into Attack on Titan back in October. I think it's my first anime I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is my first
Welcome.
one, and I think you probably knew that it needed to be something a little bit weird and creepy for me to like it. Like, it couldn't just be like a regular anime. Like, it'd have to be something very scary. And I watched up until like the part with Annie, like, and the reveal about Annie, and I watched it all in like a couple days, and I was like, this is really intense. The show's really good, but I also found it too scary. Like, which is a weird vibe for me. Like, I don't usually find things too scary, but like something about like how uncanny valley it was like really bugged me out. And so I took a break from it, and I didn't come back to it until like 2 or 3 months ago, like right after the new year. And I started rewatching we picked up, and then I just watched everything in like a 5-day bender, like a week-long bender, and went so crazy about it. And then we haven't been watching these like every week, and it's been like very frustrating but really fun. And then yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy good show. It might be one of my favorite shows of all time now. Like, it's just the cinematic scope of it is like so incredible.
It really is. It's I've been talking about, obviously, since it came out. It's been quite a journey for me. But this last episode, obviously, is the finale of season 4, part 1. We officially got confirmation that we are going to get a part 2. We don't know how long it's going to be. We do know that we do have a official, like, episode 76 is officially like pretty much already made and set to premiere winter, I believe. Is that what they said? Winter?
Yeah.
Winter of 2022.
Yeah, so winter 2022, which is obviously a while from now. But at least we have a part 2. That makes me happy, because I would have been very disappointed if they were just like, yeah, we're done. We're not going to animate anymore. Just read the books, read the manga.
Oh, God.
I would have been pretty upset. So at least we got that, and we did leave off on a cliffhanger. But I want to talk about this episode before we talk about the season. So I'm going to go to you, Imon. What do you think about this episode specifically and what it all meant?
I mean, I think the hard part about Attack on Titan is it's too short. Like, I felt like if we could have had 10 more minutes, I would have felt a little more satisfied, I think. But as a season finale or part 1 finale, it was good. Like, it's obviously leading up to what's about to happen, but there's still, like, I think there's just the whole where is Levi? Like, that's a great question. Like,
Hashtag where's Levi?
Right. That's going to be on Twitter. But I don't know. I think I have some thoughts about some imagery in the beginning with Zeke Abby and I talked about. Abby actually called it out, which was really cool. So maybe later, but as a whole, it was a great episode. I always want more, and so that's just my own selfish desires. Like, I just was like, can we get a little bit more?
Yeah,
tiniest bit.
Now, when I heard that this was like the season finale, I got really freaked out, because I was like, that means the show's over. Like, that's it. Like, I thought that they were gonna have to wrap everything up in this like half hour, and I was really freaked out and upset. But I'm really glad to know that this is just like a year-long break we'll have to take. Yeah,
it's just a long tease, is what it is.
Yeah.
Ben, what'd you think, man?
I'm kind of with Imon on that. Like, that show Invincible on Amazon just premiered, and those are like 45-minute episodes, or at least like the first 3 were that we got. And just like, if we could get that, because I'm all for good, because we knew, I think, like around episode 10 or so, they're like, there's no way they're wrapping this up in 6 episodes. Like, we're gonna get a part 2. But just like with the manga ending in like a week or so, and spoilers are just everywhere, like even just like week to week, because people get the episode before we do here. And so just like avoiding everything is just like, like I just want to know something. And with season 3, part 1, you had that story of like the royal bloodline and Historia and Kenny, and you got that arc completed. And then they're like, now we have to take Shing and Sheena. You're like, okay, that's the second part. It felt like we didn't get a complete story here. It felt like it was all leading up to this cliffhanger. I liked a lot of it. I really like where the story was going. I just wish we got a little bit more to be like, okay, this is ending, and now this is like, I realize, hey, Reiner, bring it on, is, the final battle of the final battles. But I just wish we had like a little bit more. And I mean, maybe that's just me being selfish, but like a completed story, and then this final thing is starting. Because that's what like season 3, part 1, it's like, yeah, we're gearing up for it. We have to take care of our internal problems before we go face, the warrior candidates. Now we do that, and now we're taking on the rest of the world. And so, like, we got these steps. It felt like we were kind of not wheel spinning because we kept getting more and more information, but the pacing was, like, looking back on it, the pacing was a little bit slow for me.
What do you think, Drew?
I mean, it's really hard to compare this to like something like season 2 or season 3, where like you just like the world just keeps exploding and keeps getting bigger and bigger. This season, you start real big, and I'm not even sure if I enjoyed what they did with that choice to start 4 years in the future and give us like this whole big world without the characters that we have known and like gotten close to. I was like very resistant to it, but then when we got into that world, then okay, great, now we got Warhammer time. We finally see that last Titan. Like, it's amazing. I don't want to go back necessarily to Paradise and just focus on the small time battle of there. Like, I want to know what the implications for the larger world is. And it feels like we really kind of narrowed it down and took ourselves back a step to focus on, what's up with Eren, like what's up with the rest of the gang that we all know. And like, how are they dealing with their small sort of like insular issues without getting into like, where's Historia? Like we've come to understand that like there are Eldians everywhere in the world. What does some of the ones in the Middle East look like? What does the Orient look like? Like, what does that whole world look like? And I wish it had gone there, but I feel like pretty confident that the way this show has been handled so far is so epic that they're not going to pull Game of Thrones final season and just entirely crap the bed.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what I like about Attack on Titan. I like that you brought that up, Drew, is that they're not doing a Game of Thrones final season and trying to rush it out. They're taking their sweet time, and I prefer that. I really want them to just be like, let's let the moment breathe. Let's focus on what's going on now. Look what's going on in the walls. We got the little armband thing with Yelena and Eren, and we don't know what's going on with Zeke and Eren. So I like that they're kind of taking their time and setting everything up. I prefer it that way. And the fact that we are getting a part 2 makes me feel a little bit more relaxed. If we were, I would definitely be like, what the hell? But the fact that we are getting a part 2 to me sets up like a really good, maybe a couple episodes of action sequences. And then we'll eventually go back to maybe what is the larger world at scale currently thinking. But I really enjoyed this episode. I felt like anything could happen, right? Because it's a finale. So you never know what's going down. But I really enjoyed it. Let's go to the beginning, which you mentioned, Imon. What did you think about that intro as far as Zeke getting eaten or not eaten or whatever the hell that was? I was like, what is happening? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, for a second, we thought he was a goner. And we were like, okay, so someone else is going to have the beast power. So, and that was like, that would be a kind of a cool curveball, maybe. But it was more of like the imagery, like they showed flowers again. I feel like that's sort of this thing of, there's when we saw Hannes' death in the future, whatever. We saw that blood splatter on the flowers. And we saw that little girl, like that quick glimpse. And it was like Zeke saw her. And so not like this is kind of just... we were trying to figure out who she was, and like we went back because we were like, who is she? That like, because the whole plan was like sterilization. Let's get rid of like, we don't want any more children or Eldian children. So I was like, is it Zeke's like future potential daughter that we're seeing here? But then Abby made a comment that was like, is that Ymir? And I was like, that might be Ymir. And so it's not for sure. Obviously, we don't know, but it's just like she had like these tattered clothes, and it would make sense for if this is the final season for her real story to maybe come out, so we can actually figure out what went down, what the curse is, what everything is. I don't know if you guys touched on that, or like, I'm not sure what other people have seen or have been talking about.
Do you think it's the original Ymir, you mean, right? The first one? The one who made the deal
not the
with
former
the
Draw
devil?
Titan.
Not my girl crush, but
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting because I was thinking like it looked like Historia, but again, we can
Yeah, I thought
speculate
it was
all we
Historia's
want.
kid.
Yeah, or Historia's daughter maybe in the future, and maybe she inherits the Beast Titan, and that's what he's seeing, like the future memories of her, and that's himself in the future. Let's go to a few comments before we keep going, and I'll go to you, Ben, after these comments. Tim Long says, Pieck looks awesome wearing the Survey Corps. I kind of thought that too. I was like, yo, look at Pieck wearing the Survey Corps outfit. And then Luisa Islife says, without giving any spoilers away, they did end at the right point because everything from here on out is mainly action, and it will take time to animate. It'll be worth it, though. Good to know. Awesome.
Yeah.
Ben, what'd you think of that intro, and do you think it could possibly be maybe Zeke looking into the past of like the first Titan, maybe like Imon saying?
I'm more on board with it being Historia's daughter, because it reminds me of when the owl was telling Grisha like look out for Armin and Mikasa, and he's like, who's that? And he's like, I don't know. I just get these memories, like I don't know those names. Like it reminded me of that exact moment where it's just like, where did that, like, we're living in this flashback and he's talking about these children that haven't even been born yet. So that definitely reminded me. I think I'm on board with the whole that's Historia's daughter, and that's who's going to take over the Beast Titan. I don't know when, because she hasn't even given birth yet and he's got less than a year, or maybe a year left. So I don't know how that works. But I'm also curious that I guess the only way to properly ingest someone is that you have to eat them, because that Titan like opened up its belly and like tauntauned Zeke in there.
That's why, that's why I feel like, do you guys feel like it? Because I thought was like, oh, okay, Zeke's a goner. We got a new Beast Titan. And then I was like, wait a minute, don't you have to bite down on the spinal fluid in order for it to be a Titan? Maybe Zeke is low-key like subconsciously controlling that Titan, and maybe that's one of the Titans he forgot about, or that Levi left alive, and that he's commanding it to crawl back to him and to pull like an Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker and keep him warm.
Because I think those are there aren't any Titans on the island besides the ones that Zeke just created. So
that's what I was confused when I saw it, and then I noticed when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, he could probably be subconsciously controlling it to keep himself alive. I don't know what you thought of that scene, Drew.
That's absolutely what it was. Like, as soon we thought he was a goner, and we were like, yes, like end of Zeke. Like we definitely, we saw like crawling up, and we're like, yes. And then like at the last second when it looks like it's a she, and I honestly thought for a second she looked pregnant, and I thought that was an interesting thing, but apparently she just had like a distended stomach. But like we've never seen a Titan that's not a powerful, like one of the 9 main Titans, like be able to have self-thought to do something like tear themselves open and put something in there. It definitely is a case of like he was controlling that Titan and like compelled it to tear its stomach open and put Zeke inside of it. Yeah, it is a thing where they have to consume the spinal fluid, which is also why the Jaw Titan didn't immediately get Eren's powers, because they didn't consume his spinal fluid in that final moment.
So close.
So close. Gosh, this is so close.
I think that's what it was.
Who's harder to kill, Reiner or Zeke? Like, who refuses to die?
Eren's hard to kill too, man.
Armin's actually the correct answer here. Armin just refuses.
Yeah. Well, I think Reiner's up there too, though. Our Reiner is like, bro, you can stomp on Reiner and he'll come back.
Right? He can transfer his consciousness.
Yeah,
everywhere.
bro.
Like,
He'll put his consciousness into his pinky, and his pinky is gonna be left out. Yeah, he'll find a way. That's what I think it was too. I kind of like your concept though, Imon, of like maybe he's seeing like the first Titan, which is Ymir, who made the deal with the devil of all Earth. I think that's kind of a cool idea as well. And I did notice the flowers thing too. You mentioned Hannes, obviously Eren, and we do know that Eren also gets consciousness of past and future. For a second, I was like, what if Eren's memories are kind of mixing in with Zeke's? Because later in the future, Eren's going to eat Zeke. But I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm just speculating at that point.
So we still don't know who actually knocked up Historia.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you guys think it's Eren?
Yeah, I think it's Eren.
Really?
It probably is.
Jeez.
I think
time?
I think I talked to Video Drew about this, where I think that Eren knocked up Historia, and then while touching Historia, changed the memory of this one guy, this one random farm dude that was like, yeah, we were friends from childhood, of course, yeah, I got her pregnant,
Because right, if Eren gets in touch with, if he touches Historia, that should be able to compel people to forget things, right? Because as long as he's touching someone of royal bloodline, it doesn't have to be Zeke. It could be Historia. As long as he's touching Historia, as long as he's touching her, they could make people's memories change. Because the weird glimpse that we got when the commanders were all talking, about Historia, they're like, that guy that she knew back on the farm when she was a kid, and you're like, wait, what? We've never been given that glimpse. It just
they
so
said they
shady.
vetted him, but no. They literally those two have the power to control the entire memory of the entire island. I don't trust anything.
They're straight up DNA, right? That's the whole plan.
Yeah.
They can control their DNA. Let's talk a little bit about Eren, because speaking of Eren, was I the only one who was kind of I did a whole loop-de-loop on Eren, where last episode I was like, I'm done with Eren. And then this episode I'm like, wait a minute. What if Eren's playing 4D chess?
He definitely is.
He's the way that John pointed that out. I was like, John, bro, that's what John's my homie. John's my favorite dude.
John, out of all people, to point that out, John is historically had such an issue with Eren. He's the last person that Eren beat the shit out of.
If John is the first one to be he must be doing this for a reason, it's got to be real, because Jean, especially when it comes to Mikasa, Jean would be the first person to white knight for Mikasa and be like, let's go get him.
He did it for a sec. He was like, wait, what did Eren say? And then he was like, but wait a minute.
No, tell me exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
I think that's interesting. Yeah, because the thing is, Eren, if you look at it, he effectively got everyone he loved out of the way. He made sure that they're all out of the way. He knows that Armin won't change and destroy his own city. Which is what Armin said, I can't change because the Colossal Titan is just too big and it would destroy half the city. He can't. So he got Mikasa and Armin as well as his own friends all out of the way for this battle. And I feel
that might have been. Are they underneath the building?
Yeah, they're underneath.
It was okay. I was curious about that, because that doesn't seem very safe.
No, it does not seem very safe. But I imagine his first thing is going to be to lead them away.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is when John pointed that out, I definitely felt okay, maybe we're all miscalculating and misinterpreting, and maybe Eren is doing this for a reason, and maybe he is. There was one moment in this episode, and I know I'm jumping around a lot, but I just kind of want to get to it, is when Pieck tells Eren, she's like, why haven't you used the Founding Titan power yet? And where's Zeke? And he's like, you'll see soon enough, is something like what he said. I kind of felt wait a minute, is she implying that Eren could have found Zeke on his own using the Founding Titan? That's kind of what I thought, is he purposely didn't want to talk to Zeke or avoided Zeke or let Zeke kind of fight Levi. And then when he said, you haven't used the Founding Titan power yet, he was like, oh, you'll see. Almost like Eren knows something else that everyone else doesn't know, like Yelena and Zeke. I don't know what you thought of that, Imon, that scene.
Yeah, well, I was curious. I rewatched that scene because it seemed like Pieck was trying to make a point to say Zeke has secrets. Obviously he knows all these different things about the Titans. And so she was like, it's curious why he wouldn't tell you this specific thing here about the Founding Titan. I can't remember the exact words she said, but it was something about the Founding Titan. And that was it's been on my mind, and I don't know what she meant, but it was she said it, and then the doors open and the light shines on Eren's face. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh, I thought it was about his spinal fluid. I thought they were talking about
part of it, but then she said something else, and I was like, wait a minute. Is there something more to that, or is that just the spinal fluid thing?
Well, she said that Zeke, the only time Zeke ever told the truth is when he went back to come after you. Yeah. And then after that, she said, why haven't you used the Founding Titans power yet? And she also said, you can find Zeke, or not you can find Zeke, but where's Zeke? You could have implying you could have found Zeke using the Founding Titans powers. I don't know. That was the implication I took from it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys thought of that little Founding Power Titan moment.
Well, Victor G's comment's interesting. Like, Historia's needs to have a Titan to use memory erasure. Founding Titan plus royal blood equals unlock memories. Founding Titan plus Titan with royal blood equals ultimate power. I'm not sure, like, if I exactly know exactly how that works, but yeah, Eren needs to be a Titan, and the person with royal blood needs to be a Titan in order for the power to work. Or
I guess so. So I guess he can't do it with, like, if it was his stepmom and he was just like high-fiving her, he couldn't.
But that's what worked. That's what compelled them all to.
Yeah, but she was a Titan, right?
She's a Titan. So Historia, who's not a Titan, it can't work with. Yeah.
So I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, but what'd you think of Pieck's like founding Titan power mention to Eren, Drew? What'd you think about that and what she meant?
I mean, like, Pieck has done an interesting arc. This thing, I'm a little bit confused about how many different sides there are to this argument, right? Like, they're the Jaegernists, who are like people that follow Eren and just believe Eren's right. Then there are the people that are pro the sort of the idea of what Zeke believes, who knows what Zeke believes, which Yelena, which is like the humane erasure of Eldians from society by means of sterilization. And you're like, okay, that's like kind of an idea. That feels like a half measure that is not at all workable, because then as soon as someone gets the founding Titan power and somehow gets royal blood, that next person could be like, well, I don't like that, and just undo it. Like, they could just undo it immediately. So it feels like such a half measure. I'm surprised that that's Zeke's actual plan. I don't think it is, and I don't think Eren buys that plan at all. And then there's like a fourth thing, which are like the Pieck and Gabi, who believe that like they're not pro Marley anymore. I don't even think Gabi's like pro Marley, but they're pro Eldians in Marley. And they're like, so Pieck doesn't trust Marley, but she trusts Reiner and the people that she's fought alongside to come and rescue them from the situation with Eren. So that's just like a really interesting thing. Yeah, I think she's saying don't trust Zeke, but I don't think we have to worry about Eren trusting Zeke. I think I kind of wish she got out of the way so we could have just dealt with like, Zeke plus Eren finally coming to terms.
Yeah, what'd you think of that, Ben?
To me, like, the Pieck stuff reminded me a lot of, I make another Star Wars reference of like that last conversation that Obi-Wan and Anakin has, where he's like, Anakin, be patient, your time will come. Like, I know we're asking you to do all these bad things, and you're like, oh, maybe there is hope. And you're like, oh wait, no, he's definitely Darth Vader. Like, this is a prequel. Like, we know what happens. And it's like the same thing with Pieck when she like tries to tell Gabi, like, we don't have a future with Marley. We don't if Titan, like, you saw what happened at the, in episode 1. She didn't say episode 1. Fort Slava, was that what it's called? Fort Slava. Yeah. You saw what happened. We barely won because of technology. As soon as technology surpasses us, they will mass murder our entire race because we will no longer have a necessity for them. That's the only reason they keep us around, is because we can be soldiers and we can be Titans. Once we lose that, we're no longer viable for them, and they will kill all of us. I'm like, okay, Pieck, talk some sense into Gabi. She's still kind of losing it. And then she went right back. And I mean, yes, I understand Pieck's perspective of like not betraying Reiner and Falco and what's the brother's name? Galliard. What's Falco's brother's name? Colt. But also it's just like, okay, so is Magath on their side too now? Like, is he like an Eldian sympathizer? Because even he was like not really a fan of Tiber's plan. He was not a big fan of Tiber.
But he still went along with it.
I'm not calling him like a good guy or anything. Yeah. But like, it seems like he's a little resistant to what Tiber's plan was of literally mass executing Eldian people. And like, I mean, that's a baseline start for not being the giant villain of this show. We've all learned there's really is no villains. Everybody can be a villain from any perspective.
Like Marley, like the entire
Marley's definitely the villain.
The humans are right.
Yeah,
like there's bad guys.
It was just like this. I'm like, oh, Pieck, you were so close. And I honestly I watched it twice. I didn't see Galliard when she said the hi there. I didn't see Galliard in the crowd.
I saw him.
Oh yeah.
I could see that guy a mile away.
Yeah, I noticed him. I was like, oh, that fucking haircut. It's
a haircut, bro. Yeah, my thing is like, I actually think that everything Pieck said she could still mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's against, like, everything she said to Gabi was the truth, but she's still going along with Magath because she has to. And because it's kind of like her hands are tied, but once, crap hits the fan and everything gets, murdery, she can, like, I don't know, find a way to do something with Galliard and Reiner. As long as they're on board, she's on board. So if those three were in the room and they met with Eren and they made a deal, I think she would have been down for it. But the fact that they were still not there yet, she was like, oh, I can't sell them out because I'm going to just leave them hanging and they're my homies. So I think she's still, like, on team, like, free Eldia and, like, screw Marley, because I feel like that's the correct team to be on. I don't think she's as brainwashed as Gabi is, and especially not.
Oh, no one is.
Gabi was, because Gabi was like, if we're good little soldiers and good little Eldians, they're gonna free us. And I was like, no, what
even
are you
never gonna
time,
happen?
Even after all this time that she spent, like in Paradise, like having met someone whose mother was eaten by a Titan, who had that whole conversation, being like, what did my mother do? We didn't know that this was happening. Like we didn't know this was even in our bloodline. We thought we were all of humanity. Like, what did my mother do to deserve, like, the horrific way that she was killed? And you saw, like, Gabi kind of falter in that moment. And, it kind of reminds me, I know this is, like, so dorky, but this is an anime show, so it's fine. But it kind of reminds me of, like, Into the Woods. Like, there's this song in Into the Woods when, like, a giant is about to eat, the giant from Jack and Beanstalk is, like, about to kill everybody. And they sing the song about how, like, nobody is alone. And, like, even if you have your side, like, you have to remember that, like, you're not alone, but also the people that are fighting on the other side have their own perspective and they aren't alone. And, like, you need to be careful because, like, nobody is alone in this world. And, like, that's what this episode reminded me a lot of. Like, nobody is just, like, a player, like, out there doing their own thing, except maybe Zeke. Like, everyone has people behind them.
Yeah.
Do you think that Gabi, it seemed like, because she was like, these people are devils, but why am I? Like, do you think she was trying to do some self-reflection before she got interrupted?
Yeah, she was definitely, like, hesitating to go against the Eldians now. She even hesitated to grab the rifle when Pieck told her to. She was like, oh, point the rifle at Eren. And she's like,
that was also the worst idea I've ever heard. Like, Pieck, like, you have to know better than that. Gabi is so fucking excuse me for saying, Gabi is so unstable. She is so not, like, she just killed Sasha, like, kind of without, because she went into berserker mode, basically. Don't tell her to grab the rifle. Like, don't do that.
But again, she hesitated to listen to Pieck. She was like, well, should I listen to Eren? Because Eren seems to be the one who's, on the right side. Like, she almost kind of thought that, I think, in her head, subconsciously.
What do you think Eren's plan was with her?
Eren said, because I went back and rewatched it, Eren said, get on the radio and call out for help because I know there's intruders in the wall. Gotcha. And I was like, who's he talking? Oh, he's talking about Reiner and Pieck and all of them. And then Pieck shows up and I was like, oh, speak of the devil. She's right there. By the way, anyone who's still in the chat, I just want to say this again, just because I feel like it's just necessary to say. I really want to stress that we are not manga readers. We are anime only watchers. So please, please, please don't even hint at what's going to happen because we really don't want to know. We would appreciate you guys not doing that. I know you guys are good right now, but I'm just saying for future people who are still in here. But yeah, I think Eren was definitely, I think he's on a different page. I think he purposefully did not make contact with Zeke because I really do feel like the way that Pieck implied that he could have made contact with Zeke forever ago, and Eren's acting like, where's Zeke? I can't find Zeke. Where'd he go? Yeah. And it's like
he didn't even go with his people. He didn't go with the Jaegers to find Zeke.
Exactly. And I think Pieck even said, like, you could have found Zeke using the Founding Titan's powers, I think is what she was trying to say. And he was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm doing my own thing, kind of, is the implication I got from that.
Well, it's weird because last episode when we got this Zeke perspective, we heard him say in his own head, it made me wonder if him and Eren have like some sort of psychic bond, because he's almost like talking to Eren at one point in his head. He goes, I hope you remember where we plan to rendezvous. And that really makes me believe that his refusal to find Zeke has been part of either his plan with Zeke or his plan against Zeke. But it involves having to get everybody else out of the way, getting everyone as far away. Because I think that was the whole Mika Shah and Armin thing. Like, you see this a lot in movies and TV where it's like someone goes against everything they believe and is like, I hate you, I don't want you anymore. And it's like this very like Harry and the Hendersons moment. And you're like, no, but it's always a reversal. It's always a trick. And I think that trick is always to keep people as far away, people you love as far away from the final battle as possible. Like, do we know if they've drank the wine or if they...
I don't think they have, no.
No, the scouts are literally the only people, it seems, in the military that haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
That wine drinking thing is so crazy. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, they have like Falco and Pixis. They have the people who drank the wine in one cell, and then the
Yeah, they're all wearing different armbands now because like that's
yeah.
horrific.
Well, you
but,
gotta
like,
remember who has the spinal fluid in them. I mean, I don't want to forget that just in case Zeke comes
Right.
screaming through. Like,
what is it? What do they mean again? The armbands is like the people that have the armbands that are red means that they are
Red means they knew they drank the wine and reluctantly joined the Jaegerists. White means full Jaegerist, and black means like
they had no idea they
prisoner.
drank wine.
Yeah,
Prisoner,
yeah, basically prisoner. Yeah.
POW.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks for black and red team.
Yeah, I also think that's kind of the point as far as like what's happening with Zeke and Eren is that they're kind of on different pages now. At least that's what I got from it. I don't know. That's just how I felt.
I think they are too.
I doubt they were ever on the same page.
Yeah, I also want to point out Yelena and shooting Grease in the face when he started talking crap about Sasha.
Man,
I thought that was great. I kind of knew it was coming because I was like, this guy's talking way too much.
Yeah.
And also, can we talk about Armin's Oscar contention?
Yes, my boy is back.
He's like, that's the most beautiful speech I've ever heard. And I was like, bro, what are you doing?
What a great impression of Armin, who I'm just every season I'm like, are they going to transfer him to a male voice actor yet? No.
Yeah,
okay.
they're not.
No. Armin's my hero, man. Like,
Armin's hysterical. Yeah. But he definitely was pretending to be on Yelena's side so that Yelena can loosen her grip specifically on Armin. At least that's what I got from it. I was like, bro, there's no way that is bringing you to tears. It's like sterilization sounds so beautiful.
Yeah, it's the most beautiful sterilization idea ever.
What'd
you think of that scene, Imon, as far as Armin acting?
we were actually conflicted on that. We weren't
sure. Oh, really?
To be honest, we were like, is he like legit? Does he like this plan? Because that doesn't make sense. But it doesn't make sense for Yelena to be like, all right, Armin, come on out. You're good. Like, just
I think she's a little. I think the point that Armin was trying to get there was that she is kind of that, not stupid, but like delusional and very much like anyone who's on board. I'm all for you guys. I'm not like she shot Grease. Like she's showing you that she's not.
She's not anti. Any anti.
She's not anti-Eldian. Yeah.
Well,
you can put what they are like.
Yeah.
What you can put their argument as is like the Zeke argument or like the Yelena argument as being like very like. It's what Zeke says in the beginning. It's like, oh, you poor devils, or like us poor devils, or something. It's sort of like pro-Eldian, but it's pro-Eldian in this very sad way. That's very like, it does lend itself to a sort of maudlin self-pitying that you could see Armin, someone Armin who is very smart and very canny, taking advantage of. But what he said was really interesting. He doesn't say like that's so beautiful of an idea. He said like what noble intentions you guys have. Like it's a beautiful intention. Which isn't the same thing as saying like I love this plan. It's saying like how noble like your guys' spirit, like how noble the idea behind it that you guys would be willing to sacrifice ever having children.
Yeah. It's calculated.
It's calculated
words wisely. That is true.
Yeah, I also like that John was immediately like, yo, your plan is crap. Like he was right away like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I love John, and that's why I love how he pointed that out.
I can't believe John's still around. I can't believe
I love John. John's my favorite. Yeah,
I can't believe my boy with the shaved head is still around. Like
Connie, that's our baby.
Yeah, Connie's
I can't believe Connie's still here.
To me, Jean is like the GOAT, especially after this episode. I was like, bro, like he just reached GOAT level status. He's the only one to be like, yo, I think Eren's onto something. Everyone else was off board on Eren. Apparently, even Mikasa didn't have the scarf on. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Mikasa didn't have the scarf on, and when Connie said something, I was waiting for her to be like, stop, and she didn't.
She did it. I thought that too. But yeah, I think John's on a different level as far as like thinking ahead. But I also feel like that sterilization plan is just not a good plan. Even
really
Pieck said it. Plan. Even Pieck was like, our plan is to like overthrow Marley. That's the plan. That should be the plan. Well, and I know she was like pretending, but I still feel like she kind of meant it when she was like, the plan is to like free the aliens and like not listen to Marley anymore. That's the plan. That should be the plan, at least.
Well, yeah, because someone says, like, you think that Marley's just going to let us go peacefully into the night? No, they're going to kill all of us once they realize that there's not going to, like, they're going to, like, torture us. Like, this isn't like some, we're going to fall asleep nice and deep long. No, they're going to, like, wipe us out. Like,
and there'll only be like what he said specifically is there's only gonna be geezers left to defend like the Titans because there'll only be very old Titans left, so they'll be using like the elderly. Like that's kind of messed up. I mean, it just also seems like a very reversible plan. Somebody in the comments said that like even if they want to reverse it, they can't. But like, why not? Like, why wouldn't they be able to reverse it?
That's my question.
I think once Zeke is gone, and I think they would wipe out. I think they would honestly kill Historia. I think because she's the last of the royal bloodline as far as we know. So I don't think that's why they were looking for Historia too. So once they get rid of those two people, it'd be over. They'd have no reversal technique for it.
But doesn't it go?
You told me there ain't somebody who's like.
It continues to if someone has a baby. I mean, unless all Eldians are completely. Well, I guess that's the whole point. But
that's the point, yeah.
But my thing was there. It's a curse. That's what we keep hearing. That this is the curse of Ymir. Why can't they just? I know someone just said in the comments that maybe they can't reverse it. But if you have the founding Titan, can't you just say? We don't want to be Titans anymore. Let's just stop the curse.
It would have to be founding and royal.
Yeah, right. If Zeke and Eren are together and they're holding hands and Titan, whatever they have to do, I don't know. And they're like, all right, I don't want us to be Titans anymore. Let's break the curse of Ymir. Why can't they do that? Why is it just straight to the sterilization plan? I feel like there's so many different options.
They did talk about the idea of removing the Titan idea entirely, and they also, I think they ran through that idea once, as Zeke did at least, and the idea was that would remove the Marleyans, Marleyans needing the Eldians at all, and they would just go and kill all the Eldians then anyway, and the Eldians would have no way to protect themselves because they wouldn't have Titan powers. However, here's what I think Eren would like to do in an ideal world. This would be the best plan. Give Eldians the ability, when they turn into Titans, to have self-awareness and to be able to turn back. So you could basically give all Eldians the infrastructure or like the ability to turn back or like have self-awareness and Titan form. So they are not losing their consciousness, because then you remove Marleyan's ability to control them at all. Like the Marleyans control them over fear. They use the idea of like, we'll turn you into Titans and you need to be in fear of that, turning into these base devils. But the idea is we're going to turn you into Titans and then you have the ability to turn back or remain like have your own consciousness in regular Titan form. That's terrifying to the Marleyans. Nothing could be scarier.
Well, yeah, it's like the Thanos thing. Like the only thing he could think to do when he had the most powerful items in the universe was
bubbles.
Was bubbles and to murder half the universe instead of creating more planets, more resources, and like all these like intricate things. Like, I'm just gonna kill half the people. And that'll do it?
What if Eren, like, I don't know, times travel back in time to meet the devil? I'm not even kidding. Like, what if he like finds a way to like meet up with him and be
straight
like,
up.
Yo,
there was no devil.
Possible.
Guys, if you watch the season 2, the season 2 credits give you everything you need to know about what happened in that situation. And like I had like a little song that before I really knew what was going on, when we were at season 2, I came up with like a song every episode that was just like at the end credits where I was like, yeah, we're Titans. Oh, don't be scared. Hi. Like I'm helping out. Oh no, somebody's eating us. It's the king. Like it's this thing where like clearly somebody had Ymir, we still have to see it, but like, I believe Ymir just became a Titan or somehow got a magical power to become the Titan. And then the king decided the power needed to be spread along to his children, and they needed to get this powerful Titan thing. So the curse was actually done unto the king's children who ate the Titan, or like anyone who ate Ymir, in a desire to grab that power from her. And then they were all cursed. But like, I don't think Ymir made a deal with the devil. I think it was the children of the king who were cursed with the ability of unknowledge, or they were cursed with the turning into Titans that are like brainless.
Yeah, I still feel like that's part of the idea, though, is like going back to like the first Titan, or like we
need to see it,
the Ymir, or something like that, as far as like how to do something that's really extraordinary using the power of the coordinate, right? We still see that little imagery in the end credit scene of like the tree or the coordinate kind of going out into the 9 directions or whatever it is to signify the 9 Titans. They show that when Ymir turned back into a human in season 2, I believe. And then obviously at the end credits with Falco. I mean, Falco should be something special too. I know you and Mon have been on that train for a minute saying that Falco might be like a secret special child or something like that.
Wasn't Historia the coordinates?
Yeah, no, Historia is supposed to represent like the royal blood, but I think the founding Titan is the power of the coordinates. But even literally today, Pieck said that Zeke can tap into that power too. He can tap into the founding Titan power.
Okay, so that was the question I had. That was the confusion, because it seems like he can tap into it without Eren, is what she was saying. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, because then he could just change the course of history without Eren. Are we on this? Do you guys get what I'm saying?
No, because I don't think he gets full power. I think he gets temporary power. I know what you're saying, but I think I think he only gets that for like a little bit, or like tapping into Eren, it like this much.
Yeah, the same when Eren punched Dina or Dinah's
exactly.
Hand. Well, I like the time travel thought, because he could totally go take the paths, because that's another thing they keep talking about, guides and paths and the coordinates, so they could go to that place where Ymir Historia's Ymir, not original Ymir, where she did change, and it was like the Northern Lights or whatever. So potentially he could go there and go to the beginning, because time is what is time in this.
Exactly. Story. I think he can time travel. I really do feel like that might be like a time travel situation.
I don't know if I believe in time travel, but I do believe in the ability of them to, once they absorb another Titan, then they have we've been told that the royal bloodline has been beholden. The royal bloodline, at least in Paradise, have been beholden to the desires of their ancestors. And at this point, Eren has so many Titans inside of him that I think he'll be able to if he just gets one more Titan or something like that, he'll be able to put together or unlock enough memories. Because they say the problem is that you become too empathetic to what your forebears want, but we never really know what those memories entail. I think if we see what Ymir intended, that's going to have to change your perspective.
Yeah, but it's also going back to the first episode, as far as the episode being called To You 1800 years from now, or something like that.
To You 1800 years, and that's right.
Yeah, so it's like Eren is speaking to himself, or maybe it's Armin speaking to his future colossal Titan or something like that.
Are you patting your foot?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, doing it.
There's a Titan on its way.
I just get so excited, guys.
Right now.
No, I think what's interesting is the idea here that because of the memory erasure, we don't know if this happened 10 years ago. They say every 100 years or whatever, but it could have just been this could have gone on Ymir could have existed very recently. I know Marleyans have this world history about how things went down, but they could just be lying, or they could have had their minds wiped at some certain point. We just don't know how far in the past anything has taken place.
That's true. Yeah. I also feel there's part of it too where it's the way that memories connect, because obviously we see Eren have Tiber memories in episode 1 when he sees the Tiber toys inside the Tiber mansion.
That's right. That's right.
So we do know that he has that Tiber memories too. So he might have something there from the Tibers that he might have tapped into when he got the Warhammer Titan that he didn't have before. So maybe that's why he's acting differently too.
What's crazy is we saw a glimpse of those toys though before, in the very first episode of the show. We saw a glimpse of him seeing those things, which means that the founding Titan had a memory of the future, the one that was already inside him from his father has a memory of the future. That's crazy. I don't think it's time travel, because if you can see into the future and you can see into the past, you're not affecting the events of the past, but you are making decisions based on the ability to see time outside of time. Sort of like a rival style.
Exactly, yeah. So he can actually see that. I think that's really cool, and I think that might be playing into what's going to happen. Let's quickly go to what's going to happen with Flock and Hanji, because we haven't touched on it, because it opened the episode. But I don't know. What do you guys think they're going to run into as far as once they find I don't know, Zeke inside a Titan, or once they find Levi, what's going to be left of Levi? And obviously, again, we are not manga readers, so please don't spoil. But what is going to be happening there? Is Levi just going to wake up and kill all the Jaegers, just spin around all of them, and or is it going to be out of commission? Or what do you guys think is going to happen once Hanji stumbles upon Levi and Zeke?
I initially thought that Levi would be out of the fight, but now that they're attacking now, I don't think he has time to be. We need Levi. I think
that's purposefully why they got him out of the way.
And that's the thing is because Mikasa's in jail, so I don't know how they're gonna get all the scouts out of jail, because I don't know, because as soon as you release just those people in the jail cell, the fight would be over on the ground. I don't know, because I don't know what bombardment they have in the Zeppelins and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was thinking
Mikasa
too. Yeah,
and the Colossal Titan, that's all you need. So
Yeah.
I'm
The
wondering how
Colossal
long
Titan
they're
is
going
a
to be
big
trapped in that
thing.
sail. Yeah.
Now,
that's
here's a question I had.
Yeah.
Can Zeke control the 9 Titans? Like the Zeke, when he does his scream as a Beast Titan, could he control the ones who are like the Titans that are like the founding one? No, okay, so he can't control
No.
Colossal or
No.
So that's interesting. Here's the thing: we saw half of Zeke's body get like picked up and whatever because they can. That means that there's still half of a body with spinal fluid in it, his lower torso, that is somewhere on that battlefield. And if Zeke can get to it if Zeke can get to that lower body part before it dissipates into steam, he could consume spinal fluid potentially.
Yeah, could be. I definitely feel like that's an interesting point that you point out, Ben, though, is the idea of like there's an entire army coming of Marley, and this might be the time where they're the least prepared because of all the infighting and because they don't have like a strong survey corps set up there, and it's more like a mix of like Jaegerists and Yelena and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Reiner and McGath might actually have an upper hand. I also want to point out, I know this is a weird nerdy thing that you guys might have not caught on to, but I really did, is that Reiner literally has strapped on him like an AK-47.
Okay,
Like,
I did not see that.
I thought that was one of the Titan lightning tightening things or lightning blasters.
No, it was like a straight up like AK-74, I think is what it was. And I recognized it because I was like, that's an AK. Like the design is clearly an AK. And an AK is definitely a dangerous weapon to have inside this world, which is still very much like probably World War I kind of style. So you're right, Ben. Maybe this is like they're at a huge disadvantage without Levi, without Mikasa, without Armin, and now they have AKs.
Well, here's the thing: is like with how we know that Rainier has progressed. I know he's after Eren and stuff, but like they aren't sending Marleyans into making this fight because again, Marleyans use these Eldians as cannon fodder. So what we have is Eldians coming in to fight other Eldians. Like, and if that's that's really the interesting thing where Marley might have made their biggest mistake yet is not sending any supervising Marleyans. Because like Pieck said, she doesn't trust Marleyans. So she only sent this almost like how Eren sent the letter to the ones he trusted in Paradise. Like they only sent it out to other Eldians. So it's going to be Eldian on Eldian. There are going to be no Marleyans looking over and being like, this is what you have to do for Marley. Like, no, it's going to be Eldians.
Except Magus.
Except McGath, yeah.
We don't know if
Magus.
he's a sympathizer, Eldian sympathizer.
Yeah, he's like the one odd man out, but he's
So
the
which one?
leader. McGath, the general of the Marleyans.
Is he a Marleyan? Just plain Marleyan?
He's the Marleyan. Yeah, he's
They
nothing
get rid of
Eldian.
him, like just kill that mofo.
That's what I say. Yeah.
Because at this point, like not even Reiner, nobody believes, no one who's a Titan or an Eldian believes that this is, besides maybe Gabi, believes that this is the best life for them or that this is something they need to do. They believe they might need to kill Eren and might need to kill Paradise Island people because they need all that power for themselves to do their plan. But they've all had their eyes open now.
Yeah, I think the Warriors just don't want the rumbling to happen because they don't want them to, the Islanders to destroy the world.
How interesting was it for a second when which character was like, wait, aren't we going to just do a small scale rumbling? And they were like,
Pixie said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Falco even said it, he was like I thought he thought the rumbling started because like he was underneath wherever they are and like
maybe
after I don't know, he was like, is it the Titans? They arrived. So
which Marleyan soldiers are there? If they're saying in the comments, but aren't they Marleyan-Eldian soldiers? Like which Marleyan soldiers are there?
I'm sure there's Marleyans there. I don't think they trust like a purely Eldian regiment to take this island. Like
maybe
especially with just McGath there. Like they wouldn't send McGath if it was only Eldians. Like they don't trust because like even when Zeke and Colt were standing outside and he's like, you Eldians don't get private time. Like you guys don't deserve that. Yeah. Like and that's Zeke. Like prize warrior.
The war chief,
yeah.
Well, and they were right though. Like straight up, they were totally right to not believe that. Like,
Zeke's a two-timer.
Zeke's playing his own game, but he kind of reminds me of like Ben Linus from Lost. Like he's playing his own battle. I know that like at the end of the day, he can never be good. Like he can never be on the true side of rightness. But we do see that he is empathetic and he just wants this to end. I'm really interested in what happened in the backstory. We got the backstory of like the former Beast Titan and how he had a Marleyan wife and then kid that needed to be murdered. And they suicided themselves, and it was horrible. But why did that put him out of commission? That the Marleyans allowed him to remain the Beast Titan, but never made him fight again. Like that was really interesting. There was some sort of arrangement that came to.
Yeah, we speculated that as far as like maybe his Beast Titan was weaker than Zeke's. Ben and I were talking about that last week, where maybe that's why, and maybe he was just there for research, and maybe his Beast Titan is different than Zeke's Beast Titan.
But like, why would Marley allow that to happen instead of just saying, "Okay, now you have to be eaten by somebody else"? Like, why would they allow for him to just like hang back?
I think it might have been because he's so smart. Maybe his like research brain is just like, you can't afford to lose this guy.
Maybe. I just think there's something really interesting there, and it also brought up something really interesting, which is how many times, like, this is again the sterilization plan having a loophole, which is like, how many times have Marleyans had children with Eldians? And like, those Marleyans are not going to be sterile, sterilized. So is it just going to be like, if like Rainier's dad was a Marleyan and his mom was an Eldian? There's like another example where that former Beast Titan had an Eldian wife. So when they decided on the sterilization plan, like, what if somebody who is an Eldian, impregnates somebody who is a Marleyan and doesn't have that thing and have a child that is half? Mm-hmm. I just feel like, it's like Jurassic Park. Life finds a way, and this just seems like such a bad plan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really does, and I'm curious how that's going to turn out for sure, especially considering you're right. Reiner is part Marley, part Eldian. I want to look past the season as a whole. What do you guys think of the season as a whole as a part one? I'll start with you, Imon.
I mean, it was great. I think like I do agree with Drew about just, it took time to get used to the new characters, but it was necessary. We have to know the Marley side, like, to go into the next story arc, basically. But I mean, the whole thing with the Tiber and the Warhammer fight, I mean, those are some epic moments, some great anime. I mean, just great television, basically.
Yeah.
I can't really like fault this season, although I just was just like, give me more. And I like Ben was saying too, like, I'd like it to just at the end, just a little bit more, maybe just give a little bit, because we anime watchers are like so screwed. We have a year. So it's like,
I might come up with my own fan fiction.
Yeah, probably. You probably could.
Here's the thing, like, we haven't seen the Warhammer. Like, what a tease! That Warhammer Titan seems like it has so many implications that they could do that are just badass and crazy, and we don't know how they interact with the founding Titan's ability. Yeah.
I still want. Speaking of that, Drew, I said this. I don't know if you were on Amon when I said this, but I don't think you were. But I said it to you, Ben. Wouldn't it be cool if he can tap into the Warhammer Titan powers without turning into a Titan? Like, somehow be like Colossus.
I thought that might happen.
Right. I thought that too.
I thought like she was gonna shoot at Pieck, like Gabi was gonna shoot at Pieck, and he was gonna like tink, like do that, or like she was gonna, when he was like this, and she was gonna shoot him, and it was just gonna like harden like immediately.
Yeah. I was like, dude, if he could be like Warhammer Titan in human form, I was like, that would be like OP. That'd be so
That's
cool.
what I'd love to see him do with Zeke. Is he actually betrays Zeke, and he goes, now what we're doing here is actually we're going to change the physiology so they have the ability to have the Titan power in human form, or the ability to change back and forth, which would make them the rulers of the world. Like, that would make them the rulers.
Yeah.
And especially go ahead, Amon.
I was just gonna say, like, there's the whole like I think Eren is pro Eldian. Like, I think that makes sense for him to go in and change it up, where there might be more Titans coming out. Maybe there's different powers. Maybe like if they do change the physiology or whatever you were saying, Drew, like, I think he's more on that pro side. Like, let's give more to us so we have more protection. We can take over the world. Well, hopefully not that, but like protect them from the world, rather than like, because they're everywhere, right? In the whole world, there's Eldians everywhere. So
yeah, we've seen that they're enslaved everywhere.
So it doesn't make sense. They've just been an enslaved people. It's like the whole Moses in Egypt, get the Israelites out. I mean, it's literally that. let my people go. So I'm hoping, I'd like to see that, or maybe it's just different animals or different powers that maybe Titans could have in the future.
Well, here's how I know that Eren is not on board with Zeke's plan, because Eren is the angriest person on the show. Like his thing has been raging against at first the Titans, and then realizing that the whole world has done this to him. He hates the world. That's why I think she slipped up a little bit. Yelena slipped up when she goes, "This is to free Eldians across the world, or like to save the world." And they go, "Wait, I thought this was just supposed to be a rumbling to do a show power." And she's almost like, "Whoops!" Like, and it's like that thing where it's like Eren's plan. We know about Eren. He's too full of rage. He's too full of like, he's in this to destroy the world, if not, or to bring, he's never just going to be okay with a half measure like Zeke's proposal.
Yeah, that's why I do feel like Eren is definitely on a different level as far as what he's planning. And that's why I like that John pointed that out, because I didn't even consider it. But once John did, I was like, they wouldn't bring this up if it wasn't, it's partly true that Eren might be planning something ahead of Zeke and planning something ahead of Yelena, which is why it gives me hope for Eren, because I was kind of off board by Eren, and now I'm kind of low-key coming back on board. I'm like on Team Eren again.
Wait. So, I know that Eren messed up, like with that. We're not messed up, but he did something that appears to be unconscionable with the battle. Forget what it's called, when he killed all these Eldians and put them in harm's way. But I never thought for a second that Eren's has now gone full off the reservation here, and it doesn't have the best interests of his friends and the Eldians at heart. I feel like it's just sort of one of these things where he has to convince people. He had certain people that he has gone, evil and whatever, to keep certain people out of the way. But also, like, those poor people, people who died there were necessary casualties. Like that was unfortunately like necessary casualties to convince the people he needed to convince that he had totally gone off the reservation and is dangerous enough that could start the rumbling at any point. They need to be scared that Eren is so crazy that he's willing to murder his own people. I never believed it was bad. Yeah,
I did, but now I feel like you're right on that point. As far as like, I think Eren must have done this to get on Yelena's side and to pretend that Yelena was in control and that Zeke was in control and that they were all on board with Team Zeke. And then eventually he was gonna do his own thing, which I think he's starting to do now. Once he gets Reiner out of the way, because Reiner's coming in hot with the AK-47.
But like, what's Reiner gonna do? Let's be real here. What's Reiner gonna do?
Reiner could really mess things
up.
Yeah,
Reiner's coming in hot, man. He's coming in the same.
Reiner and the army could. Reiner by himself cannot.
If you eat Eren, you get 1, 2, 3 Titan powers.
No,
right?
I know.
Galliard almost had it.
Reiner has never beaten Eren. He's never beaten him. So like, I realized the whole, what was it, like 7 blimps full of soldiers and guns and cannons. That's very scary. But Eren has single-handedly whooped Reiner's ass twice. Yeah. Like 3 times, man. If you really want to count Liberio.
3 times the charm, man.
What we need to think about is Armin. Armin really is the character that, by the way, is right now the strongest Titan. The Colossal Titan is just that's the nuclear thing. And we know that Armin personally is not comfortable with using that Titan because he can't control it. Like the thing just blows up and becomes this giant thing. So he's not the age that Reiner or I always want to go Berthold, so I go Reiner and Berthold. Yeah. Like that power, and we know that he has a little bit of that guy inside of him because he's going to visit Annie, a really big missing piece of his puzzle.
Annie, that's a piece.
An LOL Titan, because they named her the female Titan. That can't be the name of the Titan, because I'm assuming that like a dude could eat her and then get a power that's like, so her power is still, we don't know what it is. We just refer to her as the female Titan.
Yeah, where is Annie? Is she under Wall Rose?
Or she's under the main district.
The center city. Okay, that's why I thought.
So she's not
Armin now has feelings for her because he ate Berthold. And Berthold was one of these tragic endings where it's like at the end where he's getting eaten. He goes and he's like they do that. They have that mental disconnection where it's like they compartmentalize who they are so much, and then at the end where he goes, guys, like save me! Don't they see like me? Like I'm about to get eaten, and he's in love with Annie, and I
It
need
was
to know what
heartbreaking.
Annie's deal is. I need to know like what that power
Yeah.
is besides
Yeah.
female Titan, because clearly that's not like what that power is. It's not being a female Titan. It's strength. You have this ability to
Oh,
have
yeah,
this
they-
sort of cognizance.
Call
They
pure
said that like
Titans.
she's like the
Yeah.
most well-rounded Titan, and especially
Mhm.
with Annie's like just herself being like this crazy good combatant. Like they were doing the breakdown of all the Titans that we know, and they're like, oh, female Titan, like just smart, capable, amazing in combat. Like Annie's more way more foreboding to me than Reiner is, because Eren, on the other hand, got his ass kicked twice and barely won the second,
What?
like barely won the second
true.
time.
Why is
against
she
Annie.
not the attack Titan then? Because that feels like that power is the attack Titan power. Like that's
They didn't
what
have
it
the
is.
attack Titan.
What?
Yeah. No,
I know.
I-
I'm just saying, like that seems like what the attack Titan power would look like.
she's saying it's
Oh.
too similar to the Attack Titan, like the
Yeah.
description you gave. Yeah, I feel like hers is more like the calling the pure Titan thing is like, I don't think the Attack Titan can do that.
Like can't the Beast Titan, or sorry, the Beast Titan with royal blood can do that.
No, I don't think he can call pure Titans. I think he can turn people into Titans and then control those people.
No,
But I
we
think
saw
Annie-
when the Beast Titan, when he went to scream, and then suddenly all the Titans gathered around
Yeah.
him, and we've seen he has the ability to do that.
Yeah, which is turning them into
Turning them into Titans.
No,
Yeah,
but like having them controlled by him, like he can order them. We saw during that one fight, he can order the Titans to go, like already existing.
But
Titans
those
to
are the
go
ones
back.
he turned, I think.
Right.
The
They're
ones
the
he
ones
turned.
that whoever
Yeah, he can only
takes-
control the ones he turned into
Versus
Titans.
Annie called
His
the
own
ones
bias
that were
to
just
it.
random
Yeah.
ass Titans.
Yeah.
So Annie just called random Titans to come towards her that one time in season
What do you
1.
think? Do you think that was a power? Or do you think it's just when a Titan screams like that, the other Titans know how to come? And
I think they said it was a power when Magath was running down the list. They said that she has a range to control pure Titans or something like that, where she was call pure
Holy-
Titans.
Holy
Yeah.
crap! Wait, she's able to put herself in a chrysalis like a Warhammer Titan. She's
Yeah.
able to call the Titans like she might be the key. She's able to call the Titans the way that like the founding or a real family Titan with the thing. She's
Yeah.
able to move like a attack
Attack
Titan.
Titan. Yeah.
She has the ability. She might actually be
She's
a
a mirror.
key to all this. We've been saying that she's like
She's
one of the
amazing.
9, but we've just
Yeah.
called her the female Titan. We don't know her powers. She seems to have the abilities of several Titans.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's something there, and I think we'll get into it.
Yeah. They
for
wouldn't have
sure
brought
in part
Annie
2.
up in this season if she wasn't going to be a huge part in part 2. Like
Yeah.
I'm really curious of what part she's going to play, because she's always been so nihilistic about everything. And so I don't know if she'll like jump into battle, because I don't think she has that comrade thing with Berthold and Reiner and Galliard and them. Like, I don't
She
know.
doesn't.
She's such a wild card, and I feel
Yeah.
like she's gonna make that decision like in game. It's gonna be like walking up to the situation. She's gonna assess it and be like, "Where's my dad? Like, what's going on
Yeah,
with
that's
him?"
the first question.
Yeah.
And is he
To
dead,
address-
potentially?
Yeah.
He might have
To
died.
address something in
because
the
of
chat,
Eren.
people are saying like, oh well, no, she has this, she does blah blah blah. She definitely has the Warhammer Titan power of turning herself into a chrysalis. We haven't seen anyone else be able to do that. The term
Yeah.
female Titan is something that has been given to her by the Paradis-Eldians, right? Like the idea of it being a female Titan, like, and that's the power is female, doesn't really make much sense.
Well, Magath said that in the rundown too, though, because that episode where he gives like the rundown of like, let me tell you who the Titans are. He actually calls her the female Titan too.
So that's interesting. Does it have to be
I
a
don't know.
female?
I don't know. I think a dude can. I mean, Ben wanted to be the female Titan last episode.
Hell yeah!
I
I'd
just
say
feel
like
like
that's
that's,
Ben
most
could be,
well-rounded
he could be
Titan.
female Titan if he wants.
that's
Yeah.
a descriptive Titan that feels like it is too reductive to be like, oh yeah, well it's a female Titan because it's Annie and
Yeah.
that's
It looks
That's
like
what I like that
female.
point.
Yeah,
Well, it looks like Annie.
yeah.
Like, and I guess maybe it'll just take on whatever form whoever eats her or that Titan.
Well, yeah, like it has just been like one of those things where it's like, oh, like when the first time they saw Zeke and like, who is that beast? And it just so happens his name is the Beast Titan. I was like, oh, that's convenient. Like
That's
Oh,
exactly
wait.
what it was. Yeah.
yeah.
female Titan. What would be the one thing that would distinguish a female Titan? Would be a female Titan would have the ability to have female reproductive organs possibly, or be a female
Ooh,
like to
maybe.
have the abilities of a woman Titan. We see that she looks like a woman. She's very she's seems like she seems a little bit more fleshed out than the rest of them. What if her power is that she has the ability to reproduce in Titan form or to have children? I mean, why else qualify it as female Titan? Like, what does that mean? When other Titans could be females, It
is interesting, right? Because most Titans, when they do turn into Titans, they appear masculine, even though they're women. We've seen that before. They always come out like looking masculine, not necessarily like a dude, but they look more masculine.
She was hot. She was a hot Titan.
Yeah, she's definitely has like the feminine qualities of her physique. I guess that's the best way to put it.
And she can harden herself. Like, I just feel like maybe if we're going to say that the power is called female Titan, then that means that there is something related to her power that involves.
I think all Titans can harden themselves, though.
No, I don't think all of them can.
Zeke can, Eren can, Annie can.
Yeah.
I think that's something you take, though, right? That's like because didn't Eren bite into that in season 3, that the hardening, and then that's when he hardened? Because he couldn't do that before. He
just hadn't discovered that power yet. But I know Annie can.
He bit into
everyone else's power relates to something that they can do, right? Beast Titan can do this beast thing, turn look into a beast. A Cart Titan can go bipedal. Sorry, can go into all fours. Like Colossal Titan can turn colossal. What does it mean to be a Titan? That your distinguishing thing is that you are a female. Like, what does that mean? No matter who it's passed on to, you would become a female Titan. Why would that be a power?
I definitely feel like that's going to be something explored for sure next season. But guys, we've run out of time. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. This was awesome. I love speculating. I love talking about this stuff. And thank you, for the most part, to the chat for playing safe. But either way, Imon, where can everyone find you?
On social media, everywhere, Imon_Snow. On YouTube, we do reactions, all that good stuff. Attack on Titan reaction should hopefully be up tomorrow.
Nice.
Sometime tonight, hopefully.
And Drew, where can everyone find you?
Oh yeah, like Video Drew. It's one word. You can find me on my YouTube channel where I don't want to go through my whole spiel, but yeah, Video Drew on all social media, on YouTube. I have a Patreon stuff, and yeah, I'm hoping to get this is, again, like I said, my first anime. I'm so psyched about it, and I want to get more into anime. So if anyone has any suggestions about what to do with that,
we all do.
We all do.
Showdown. I do that stuff too.
Yeah. Speaking of anime, Ben, Jujutsu Kaisen time.
Yes, absolutely.
Now that the
season
anime
finale, the fact that we got both season finales this week, we are so spoiled.
Mappa, dude, Mappa.
Dude, they did
both.
That season. Oh my god, the animation of those last. It's amazing.
So guys, if you guys want to tune in, we will probably be doing some Jujutsu Kaisen videos, so be tuned for that. Ben, where can everyone find you, man?
Everywhere at the Ben Goddard, where me and Ace will definitely be back here for Jujutsu Kaisen stuff, and definitely winter 2022, breaking this down every single week for sure.
Also, I can't believe it. Eric, My Hero. Let's talk about My Hero, dude. We both love My Hero.
Yes, for sure.
That's a good anime. I forgot it came back.
Wait, he's gonna come in for a hot second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait 1 second. I'm gonna get the jaw tighten over here.
I don't want to sit on the dog.
Okay.
Hey everyone.
Hey, Bubba.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Just over here to the side working, as always. Yesterday was the My Hero premiere for season 5,
right.
which that's actually the next show I'm going to get Drew on for. She hasn't seen yet, so
that's
going to transition.
Yeah, that's going to take you. It took me a minute to get into to that one, especially after my Attack on Titan brain.
Yeah,
and then go into the mind of a 14-year-old wannabe superhero. I was like, all right, man,
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro. Let's do it.
It's the way I pitched it to her was the power workings of Mirio, which I didn't go into too much spoilers, but just the idea of how that works. That's what hooked her. The idea is how they play around with these powers and the kind of creative stuff to do with it.
Misfits are almost
Yeah,
they
do a lot of creative stuff with the powers. I think you're interested.
Yeah, that's I've always been what I've been interested in. And it's people who shows like Misfits, or shows even Umbrella Academy, where it's the powers are somehow related to messy parts of your personality, or I like that element of
I like how there's a payoff for they're muscles. I can do this, but it costs this. They're not, X-Men, where Mr. Freeze can just like freeze forever and you never really get tired.
I think called him Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, well, he's Mr. Freeze. He's not Dr. Freeze.
Yeah.
He's not Dr.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
Ice. Okay.
Iceman.
Whatever.
Drake.
Man, you know what I mean.
It's a funnier name because that character's whatever.
Yeah, My Hero's a great
Better.
one. Jujutsu Kaisen's a fun one too. It's definitely super anime though. Jujutsu Kaisen is.
Yes.
It's about like sorcerers fighting demons and like it's
Curses.
really curses, demons, same thing. Demon Slayers,
Right?
same thing.
Actually, so I felt the need to pay
Yeah.
it forward with a well actually as well. That's what nerd culture is
Yeah.
nowadays.
I
But
might
either
watch
way,
the
there's
first
a lot of
one
them.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, it's a long. It's super. I would say Mob Psycho 100. Please watch that.
Ooh, there you go.
That's actually, I think you would really like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, guys,
good.
dude, thank you so much, Eric, for getting me into my first anime. Anime has always been that one nerd thing that I've like hold out on, being like, I'm too cool. I'm gonna listen to musicals. Like, I'm too cool for anime.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like,
Oh, Demon Slayer too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I need to pick up the. Is it manga or manga?
Manga.
I'm like, I need to pick up the manga. Like, I need to like get real into this subculture of cool stuff. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this is now my vibe. But I need something scary.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, thank you again for coming on, guys. I really do appreciate each and every
Thank
one
you
of
so
you
much.
guys.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun, guys. So make sure you guys subscribe to First Cut if you haven't done so already. That's the best way to get in contact with us and to keep up with more anime videos we're going to be doing, as well as you can follow me at Squad Leader Ace on Twitter and Instagram. So either way, guys. Nerd Chronic. Go follow Nerd Chronic, Eric.
Yes.
As well. You can find all his tweets there. Either way, guys. For the
Thank
First Cut crew, we're peacing out. Peace.
Bye forever until whatever. Bye.
Winter 2022.